You know that specific moment, usually at a dimly lit restaurant, when you're handed a menu and you suddenly find yourself doing this sort of trombone motion with your
Oh,
arms.
yeah, the classic push and pull.
Right, you're pushing it away, bringing it closer, squinting, just trying to find that exact perfect distance where the blurry text suddenly, snaps into focus.
And it's one of those universal human experiences that we tend to completely ignore until we absolutely can't anymore.
Yeah. Or maybe it's that feeling at the end of a long workday, right? When you close your laptop and your eyes feel, well, physically heavy, almost like they've been carrying weights all day long.
Exactly. It just creeps up on you, usually right around the time you hit your late 40s or 50s. We spend decades treating our eyes like they're invincible.
Right.
We ask them to process just this infinite stream of artificial light, and then we're somehow surprised when the biological hardware starts to show some wear and tear.
Which brings us to the mission of our deep dive today.
Right.
We are looking at a really fascinating stack of research tackling eye health after 50.
Yes.
And specifically, we're going to be unpacking this one core, kind of nagging question, which is, if you eat a healthy diet if you're generally doing all the right things, do you really need a targeted eye supplement?
It's a crucial question to ask because we've all been taught that a balanced plate should be our primary source of nutrition.
The whole food is medicine idea.
Exactly. And we're not here to demonize our diets. The goal today is to look at the biological reality of our aging tissues. We're looking at why food alone might not be cutting it for our eyes anymore and how to be proactive rather than reactive with our cellular nutrition.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because the research points out that aging affects nearly every tissue in the body, obviously,
Yeah.
but the eyes seem to take a uniquely hard hit.
They really do.
So what is actually happening under the hood when we start needing that trombone arm maneuver just to read a wine list? I mean, we know the lens loses flexibility, which is why focusing up close gets harder.
Right. Presbyopia.
Right. But there is a much deeper cellular story playing out here, isn't there?
There is. The mechanical change with the lens is really just the surface level. What's fascinating here is the sheer metabolic demand of your vision.
Okay, how so?
Well, the retina, specifically the macula, contains the highest concentration of photoreceptors in your entire body.
Wow.
Yeah. These cells are constantly converting light into electrical signals so your brain can actually process images. And to do that, the eyes are burning through massive amounts of energy, ATP.
Okay.
In fact, pound for pound, the retina consumes more oxygen than almost any other tissue in the human body, including the brain.
Wait, really? More than the brain?
More than the brain.
So they are constantly running hot, basically.
They are running incredibly hot, and anytime a biological system burns that much energy, it generates exhaust. In cellular biology, that exhaust comes in the form of free radicals, or reactive oxygen species.
Right. We hear a lot about free radicals.
Yeah, and they're basically unstable molecules that are missing an electron, so they furiously bounce around trying to steal an electron from healthy neighboring cells.
Oh, wow.
And when they do that to the delicate lipid membranes of your eye, it causes structural damage. That cascading damage is what we call oxidative stress.
Let me make sure I'm wrapping my head around this.
Yeah.
It's kind of like comparing the eye to a high-performance car engine.
I like that, yep.
You've got this engine running at the red line all day, every single day, from the minute you wake up until you close your eyes to sleep for 50 straight years.
Right.
Over time, that constant combustion creates this microscopic rust that's just building up on the tissues.
That's a perfect way to look at it. But take that analogy one step further. When you're 20, your biological engine has a built-in, highly efficient rust removal system. Your body produces its own endogenous antioxidants to neutralize those free radicals before they can cause damage. But as you cross that 50-year threshold, the production of those internal defenses naturally drops.
Ah, so your ability to clear the exhaust just slows down.
Exactly. And the real issue is that we are driving that car in worse conditions than ever before.
Oh, because of the screens. We aren't just dealing with natural sunlight anymore. We are blasting our retinas with artificial blue light from our phones and laptops.
Exactly. Blue light is highly problematic because it has a very short wavelength and incredibly high energy. Unlike ultraviolet light, which is mostly absorbed by the front of the eye, Like the cornea and the lens blue light penetrates all the way back to the retina.
It goes right through.
Right through. It literally strikes the macular pigment, generating even more free radicals. So your natural defenses are dropping right at the exact moment in human history when our environmental exposure to high energy light is peaking.
Okay, here is where I have to play devil's advocate for a second.
Go for it.
Let's say I am hyper aware of this, right? I'm doing everything right in the kitchen. My fridge is packed with leafy greens, colorful veggies, berries.
The perfect diet.
Right. And the data clearly shows these foods contain crucial eye nutrients. You know, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, zinc, lutein.
Absolutely, they do.
So if I'm eating like massive spinach salad every single day, shouldn't that be enough to neutralize the exhaust and clear out the rest?
Well, that assumes the spinach you eat translates directly into cellular defense of the retina.
Right.
In a theoretical world, a perfect diet would be enough. The problem we're looking at isn't the theoretical potential of the food, it's the modern reality of acquiring, breaking down, and absorbing those specific nutrients.
Here's where it gets really interesting, folks, because the research outlines some massive hurdles between the farm and your photoreceptors.
Oh, huge hurdles.
The first hurdle is the food itself. Like a spinach leaf grown today does not have the same nutritional profile as a spinach leaf grown 50 years ago.
Not at all. Modern agronomy is heavily focused on yield and growth speed. And when crops grow faster and larger, they actually spend less time in the soil absorbing minerals.
Wow.
Add to that the pervasive depletion of the soil microbiome due to modern farming practices. The plants themselves are struggling to pull trace minerals like zinc or copper from the earth.
So they're deficient before we even pick them.
Exactly. And then consider the logistics. Produce is often picked before it's nutritionally ripe so it can survive a 2-week journey on a refrigerated truck.
Right, because it has to look good in the supermarket.
Exactly. And by the time it reaches your grocery store, sits in your fridge for a few days, and finally gets cooked, the volatile, water-soluble vitamins, like vitamin C, they've degraded significantly.
So the raw materials entering the factory are already compromised? But it actually goes deeper than that.
It does.
Because even if you manage to grow, say, a perfectly nutrient-dense heirloom vegetable in your own backyard, your body still has to process it. And a 50-year-old digestive system operates very differently than a 20-year-old's.
This is the biological hurdle that catches most people off guard. As we age, our stomachs produce less hydrochloric acid.
Less stomach acid.
Right. This condition, called hypochlorhydria, becomes increasingly common after 50. And stomach acid is what physically cleaves minerals and vitamins from the food matrix.
Okay.
So if your acid drops, your ability to extract zinc or separate vitamin B12 from its binding proteins drops right along with it.
Oh, wow. And it's not just the stomach, right? The actual absorption in the intestines changes too.
Exactly. Our gut lining becomes less efficient and our enzyme production slows down. Furthermore, crucial eye nutrients like vitamin A, lutein, and zeaxanthin, they're fat-soluble.
Meaning they need fat to be absorbed.
Right. They require a healthy flow of bile from the gallbladder and specific dietary fats to be absorbed properly.
Right.
So if your digestive mechanics are slowing down, you could be chewing through pounds of premium vegetables. But a shrinking percentage of those micronutrients are actually making it into your bloodstream, let alone crossing the blood-retinal barrier into your eyes.
It really is a supply and demand crisis. I mean, the demand for antioxidants is skyrocketing because we are staring at screens for 10 hours a day.
Yep.
But the natural supply chain, from depleted soil to our own aging digestion, is experiencing these severe bottlenecks.
Which logically requires us to look at how we bridge that gap.
Right.
Because if the food matrix is failing to deliver the necessary payloads consistently, targeted supplementation becomes a highly pragmatic tool for maintaining the metabolic health of the eye.
Now, the research we're looking at makes a very clear distinction here, though. It draws a line between basic, everyday eye vitamins and newer comprehensive vision formulas.
Yeah, we are looking at a really fascinating evolution in nutritional science right now.
How so?
Well, traditional eye vitamins, which have been around for decades, they mostly focus on preventing absolute deficiency. They provide the baseline essentials, vitamin C, E, zinc, copper.
And usually lutein and zeaxanthin, right? Because those aren't just random vitamins.
Exactly. Lutein and zeaxanthin are carotenoids. When you consume them, Your body physically deposits them into the macula of your eye where they form this yellow pigment.
Okay.
Think of them as literal internal sunglasses.
Internal sunglasses. I love that.
Yeah, they absorb that high-energy blue light before it can strike the photoreceptors and cause oxidative damage. So, traditional supplements ensure you have the raw materials to build that pigment.
But the newer approach, these comprehensive formulas, they go way beyond the basics. The research highlights a specific formula called Visium Plus as an example of this shift.
Yes, Visium Plus is a great example.
When you look at the ingredient profile, it's not just the alphabet vitamins. They are incorporating complex plant botanical extracts, trace minerals, and this is one that got me, medicinal mushroom extracts.
Well,
The first time I saw mushrooms on an eye health list, I literally thought it was a typo. What is a medicinal mushroom doing for my macula?
it sounds strange at first, but if we connect this to the bigger picture of cellular wellness, the inclusion of fungi and botanicals represents a massive leap forward.
Okay, why?
Basic vitamins act as direct antioxidants, meaning one molecule of vitamin C neutralizes one free radical and then it is spent.
Oh, so it's a one-to-one ratio.
Exactly, it's a one-and-done deal. Medicinal mushrooms, however, contain these complex compounds like beta-glucans and unique amino acids like ergothioneine.
Ergothioneine. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi novel.
It does. It is often referred to in research as a longevity vitamin. It's a powerful intracellular antioxidant that actually has its own dedicated transport system in the human body.
Wait, meaning our cells actively pull it inside.
Precisely. Instead of just acting as a simple shield, these mushroom compounds and plant phytonutrients are believed to upregulate the body's own internal defense systems.
Oh, wow.
They communicate with the cells, essentially telling your biological engine to turn its native rust removal pathways back on.
Okay, let me refine that car engine analogy then. A regular traditional eye vitamin is essentially a basic first aid kit, right?
Yes.
You have your standard bandages and antiseptic. You are handing the cells the raw materials to plug up immediate deficiencies.
Mm-hmm.
But a comprehensive formula like Visium Plus, with the botanicals, the mushroom compounds, that is like bringing in a specialized software update for the engine itself.
That's a great way to frame it.
You aren't just handing it raw materials, you're actually signaling the machinery to run cleaner and defend itself more efficiently against all that high-energy light.
That captures the mechanism perfectly. It shifts the approach from basic maintenance to proactive cellular signaling.
Right.
Look, for someone who lives entirely off-grid, eats a wildly diverse, pristine diet, and never looks at a screen, a basic first aid kit might be all they require.
If that person even exists anymore.
Right. But for the average person over 50, managing a modern diet and logging heavy screen time, a comprehensive profile provides the biochemical signaling that actually aligns with the reality of their environment.
So what does this all mean for our daily routines? Because reading through the research, there is a massive flashing warning sign that we absolutely cannot ignore.
Oh, definitely.
Even with the most advanced phytonutrient-dense mushroom-infused supplement on the market, it is still just a supplement. It supplements a lifestyle. You can't just pop a capsule and assume you're invincible.
Exactly. The human body operates as a holistic ecosystem. You cannot out-supplement a damaging lifestyle, especially when it comes to the vascular system of the eye.
The vascular system.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't touched on that yet. How does that connect to all this?
Well, think about how nutrients actually reach the retina in the first place.
Blood flow.
Right.
Yeah.
They have to travel through microscopic capillaries.
Yeah.
If a person is chronically sleep-deprived, highly stressed, or consuming massive amounts of refined sugar, they are constantly damaging their vascular endothelium, which is the lining of those tiny blood vessels.
Oh, yikes.
And high blood pressure. That acts like a pressure washer on those delicate capillaries.
Wow.
So if those vessels become damaged or blocked, it doesn't matter how much Visium Plus or organic spinach you consume. The nutrients simply cannot be delivered to the tissues that actually need them.
Which totally shatters one of the biggest myths out there, right? That eye health is just this isolated system.
Right.
People assume that if they take a multivitamin gummy once a day, their eyes are magically protected. But a generic multivitamin is casting a very wide, very shallow net over the whole body.
Exactly. General multivitamins are designed to keep you from developing scurvy or rickets.
Right, the bare minimum.
They do not contain the specific concentrations of macular carotenoids or the targeted botanical pathways required to manage the unique metabolic exhaust of the retina.
And it also shatters the whole reactionary mindset.
Yeah.
So many people wait until the menu gets blurry, until the damage is highly advanced, to start caring about ocular nutrition.
Which is way too late.
Right, because the whole point of cellular signaling in internal sunglasses is to have them in place before the oxidative stress physically degrades the tissue.
Yes. It requires a fundamental shift in how we view longevity. We need to maintain the structural integrity of the tissue proactively, and that means pairing advanced supplementation with non-negotiable daily habits.
Like the 20-20-20 rule. I saw that in the research. Every 20 minutes, you look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds.
Yes, and the mechanism behind that is beautifully simple. When you stare at a screen 2 feet from your face, the ciliary muscles inside your eyes are locked in a state of continuous flexed tension.
Like holding a bicep curl.
Exactly like that. So looking 20 feet away physically allows those muscles to disengage and relax. Furthermore, when we stare at screens, our blink rate actually drops by over 60%.
Wow. 60%. We just stare and blinking into the light.
We really do, which evaporates the lipid layer of our tears, leading to chronic dry eye and surface inflammation.
Makes sense why my eyes burn at 5 p.m.
Right. So taking that 20-second break forces you to blink, replenishing the protective film over the cornea. Combine that with wearing UV protective sunglasses outside to physically block radiation, and of course prioritizing sleep.
Oh, sleep. Because sleep is when the brain clears out its own metabolic waste, right? Does the eye do the same thing?
It does. The eye has its own clearance pathways, very similar to the brain's glymphatic system, that are highly active during sleep.
Good.
If you are chronically cutting your sleep short, you are basically trapping yesterday's metabolic exhaust inside your retinal tissues.
Man. All right, let's pull all of this together because the sheer scale of what our eyes are dealing with is kind of staggering.
It is.
We are asking a highly sensitive, metabolically demanding organ to process an unprecedented amount of artificial high-energy light. And as we cross into our 50s, our natural biological defenses drop, right when our aging digestive systems are struggling to pull nutrients from a heavily depleted food supply.
It paints a stark picture of the modern biological bottleneck, for sure. The demand for targeted cellular defense is at an all-time high, but the traditional delivery mechanisms are failing us.
Which is why the nutritional science has evolved. I mean, we've moved from the basic first aid kit of isolated vitamins to comprehensive matrix-level formulas like Visium Plus.
Exactly.
By incorporating plant botanicals and mushroom compounds like ergothioneine, we are moving beyond just plugging dietary holes. We are actively signaling our cells to upregulate their own defenses and clear out the biological rust. But, as we've established, that software update only works if the hardware is maintained through sleep, vascular health, and screen management.
It invites a serious audit of your own routine. When you sit down to work tomorrow, ask yourself, are you forcing your visual system to run at the red line without giving it the raw materials and the recovery time it needs to survive the drive?
It is a critical question. And,
Yeah.
going through this research leaves me with a final, somewhat provocative thought to throw out there for you to think about.
I like these. What is it?
Well, we just spent this entire deep dive looking at how our ancient biology is struggling to cope with the modern environment we've built. We're surrounded by highly illuminated digital screens almost 24 hours a day.
An environment that human biology has never experienced before in history.
Exactly. So if our digital habits continue to accelerate and our environmental exposure keeps intensifying, how is human vision going to adapt over the next 50 to 100 years?
Wow. Yeah.
Will the humans of the future, like our kids and grandkids, require an entirely different baseline of nutrients just to safely look at their world? Will comprehensive cellular signaling formulas go from being a proactive wellness choice for people over 50 to an absolute biological necessity for everyone from childhood onward?
It really forces us to consider that we are actively guiding our own evolution. Our biology is trying desperately to catch up to our technology, and nutrition is really the only bridge we currently have.
It is absolutely wild to think about. Definitely something to mull over the next time you find yourself doing that trombone arm motion with a menu, squinting at the fine print. Your eyes have been running like a high-performance engine your entire life. It might just be time to give them the specialized support they actually need.